The second major of the 2014 PBA Tour season rolls on at the United States Bowling Congress Masters. Full house at Brunswick Zone, Carroll Air. And hello again, Mike Jakubowski with two Hall of Famers, record breaker Johnny Petraglia and Randy Peterson. And John, you competed here, and not only did you compete, but you made match play and made some noise here.
Oh, this was really great this week, Mike. I had a ball. So many people texted me that were watching me on Extra Frame. My son and all his friends in Las Vegas and across the country. It was just a great week, and the support I got from the crowd here, from everybody that came to watch. It was just a wonderful week. I just ran out of gas.
Johnny, you know, this isn't the first time you and I have been in the booth together. So once again, Petraglia and Peterson ride again.
We ride again.
Now, my question for you is simple. You know a lot about Tom Smallwood. He's coming up to face the hottest player on the planet in Jason Belmonte. But you know Tom as well as anyone. What do you see moving forward in this next match?
I think that Tom has a really good chance if he can conquer the right lane. When I was watching Jason in that first match, he sprayed it a little bit at the break point on the left-hand lane, and yet still got it to the pocket. The right-hand lane was a lot tougher, so it's going to play tough for Tom. I think Jason is figuring out that right lane, and Tom's going to have to get it early to be a factor here. But once he gets lined up, he strikes as much as anybody.
Thanks, Johnny.
Thank you, Johnny. And this Columbia fun fact: over the 15 games of qualifying in the Masters, the 201 PBA members out-averaged the 267 amateurs by a little more than 9 pins per game. Pros 199, amateurs 190. About a marked difference.
You know, the one thing that I saw in watching match play with Tom Smallwood, and especially the four-player shootout to try to get the last 3 spots in the show, was when Belmonte's ball was overreacting. As you can see, he's making a ball change here to start this match. Right. Hang on 1 second. Yeah, concerned about the left lane, concerned about the right lane. You know, he's very unsure about his ball reaction. But when I saw this exact thing happen in the 4-player shootout, when Belmonte was going through the nose, and Dom Barrett was struggling to get his ball to the pocket, the one right-hander who seemed to basically tame the oil pattern was Tom Smallwood.
Yeah, you're right. That was a bad break that Jason just got. Tom went to a ball that got used up sooner, so it was a little softer in the back. If you watch, he got a little bit deeper, and he got that great ball reaction, and he killed him in that final 4. Yeah. We'll see if he's going to do that today. He's starting with a beatdown, which is pretty aggressive. We'll see what happens.
Two-time winner on the PBA Tour, including a major, and another Hall of Famer in attendance. That's Mark Roth. Great to see Mark out here.
Yeah, he looks real good. He looks better than the last time.
Smallwood, light, shakes everything but the 2. Fair for Smallwood. Randy talked to him yesterday. He said, I'm going to find out real quick where I can play.
Yeah, and what he was talking about was in warm-ups where all the players were, while all the players were warming up, where Belmonte was going to be playing, where Haugen was going to be playing, and what looked the best and what best suited him. He also said that going straight this week never looked good for him.
This one thing I got to say this week, though, is I guess we should watch Tom throw the ball first, too.
Second frame, Smallwood on the spare.
There's that softer look, right? One thing I'd like to give a little kudos to the USBC, because this is the second year in a row, a 210 average to make the top 64, 206 average to get a check, and all games played, as by evidence of the show.
I agree.
A lefty, you got Haugen going right at him, Walter Ray and Doug Kent piped 5 all week while the other guys will weigh in. So that's a really good job.
I think it's a great job. It allowed all the players in all styles to play.
Belmonte strike in the second.
All right, so let's listen in and see what Jason had to say about the left lane. All or excuse me, what he did on the left lane. Remember that 4 through the middle. This is the first shot to start this match with a different ball.
So Belmo back on the left lane now, split there in the first.
And back to the original bowling ball.
Finds the line and the pocket, and a strike for Belmonte.
Johnny, we talk a lot about Jason Belmonte and the fact that, you know, he's got the strongest, most powerful ball on tour. His pocket's bigger than anybody's. His carry percentage is higher than anybody's. And when this guy is firing on all cylinders, there's only two things that can beat him: a one-game match and an act of God. What's your take on that?
Well, I think that what people don't realize about Belmo is when Belmo knows he has room and has to just get it to a certain break point, he can do it. And he doesn't worry too much about accuracy. When he has to be accurate, he can be. And he's really developed into a tremendous bowler. I remember the shot by Tommy. I remember 5 years ago watching him and Oscar, and personally I thought Oscar was a little better than him when they first came to America. And what Jason has developed into is just phenomenal. It was something like 11 majors in a row in the top 10.
You said it, throwing a mastermind, strongest ball in his arsenal that he has down with him today. And talked about that real soft reaction off the back end of the pattern. Watch this.
Yeah, see, it's a ball that gets the start up just a shade sooner and just loses that shade of energy in the back to not over snap through the nose. And because Tommy doesn't throw it that hard, it eliminates that snap for him in the back end. Good shot for a solid 10. Great. Bad break.
Smallwood with a lead of 11 pins through 4 frames.
A little different, unique role for Smallwood. We'll talk about here in a minute.
Randy, Jason Belmonte says, I strip down my game to the bare fundamentals, and I execute those fundamentals better than anyone.
Well, I'm not going to argue with him. Reigning player of the year. Guy's been a world beater in majors last 8 of 9 shows.
Oh, solid 9.
And that's the one thing that you don't see a lot, even though you think he should leave more stone 9s like that. And I think that it's because he's so good at figuring out the right ball to throw so that he doesn't do that. Because think about it, John. I mean, you and I, about average power, you and I leave that on a daily basis.
Absolutely.
He doesn't.
You're 100% right. It's amazing how many we leave now.
Right.
And him getting it to the right spot with the right bowling ball has a lot to do with it.
I mean, he's got twice as much power, and he leaves them half as many times as we do. Maybe less than that.
Well, when you get things going this good, Randy, I think it's your confidence level gets so high that you just feel like the pocket's right in front of your face, and you're not going to miss it. You can almost pick what part of the pocket you want to hit.
468 player field. The field average was 194. As we mentioned, the average of cash 205 and 210 to make match play. The leading qualifier was the defending champion, Jason Belmonte, at 232.13. That's 15 games. Also 12 women in the field, including Kelly Kulick, the PBA Tournament of Champions winner. 15 countries represented at this year's Masters. Beer frame. And Belmo with a strike.
I think these are important shots for Tommy right now. He's got a little bit of a lead, but Belmo's gotten lined up again. And like I said, this left lane is really important for him. He's made a good shot the last time. If he keeps making them, I think he's in good shape because he's pretty locked in on the left lane.
Smallwood with a strike. He leads by 12 pins halfway home. The winner of this match gets the number 2 seed Michael Haugen Jr. Here's Tom Smallwood's road to the finals, defeating Josh Blanchard, Scott Norton, Matt O'Grady, Jason Belmonte before losing to E.J. Tackett and then winning the elimination final, the 4-player shootout with a 738.
That pair that he bowled E.J. Tackett on really played tough. That was a tough pair for the both of them, and E.J. outlasted him.
Smallwood can increase his lead here, 6th frame. High, 6-10.
Well, he missed a good lane.
Come on.
Well, he avoided a big split, too, and I think it's probably because of that softer back-end reaction, the way he's playing this oil pattern. You can see just how deep Tom Smallwood is, and it's only game 2. He's thrown that ball right around the 25th board at the arrows.
Oh, mental error, open frame. Evens the match.
Good time for a break. Nice shot. Yeah.
Dang it.
So Tom Smallwood even things up by missing a spare, and Jason Belmonte will have a chance to double up. More action coming from the USBC Masters. Second match of the day at the United States Bowling Congress Masters, second major of the 2014 PBA Tour season continues. Tonight on ESPN, one of the surprise teams of the NBA look to continue their entertaining run as Goran Dragic and the Suns host Dwight Howard and the Rockets. NBA Sunday presented by State Farm. Houston versus Phoenix tonight at 9 on ESPN, also live on Watch ESPN. Smallwood with a big open frame, Randy, previous.
Yeah, and, you know, this was just a lack of concentration, Johnny. He steps up, and Smallwood's a good spare shooter.
And Smallwood getting used to pressure.
Good time for a break. I love the pressure. I feel I bowl better under pressure. But still, I'm just as nervous as anyone on earth. You know, my hand's shaking and my knees are, I can't feel my legs. So fortunate I've had enough time to come through a few times and you know, come through the wins and get to some matches that way.
Johnny, pressure had nothing to do with Tom Smallwood missing that spare.
Right, it was just a lack of focus. He's good under pressure. I mean, that's where all the fun is, with the pressure.
Exactly right.
Yeah. But spares are everything. Jason won the last match because he made the 2 splits, not because of the 6-bagger.
Exactly.
So now Belmonte up in the 6th frame can take advantage of the miscue by Smallwood by doubling up. 6th frame, winner gets Haugen. Light, mixer, strike.
Johnny, do you think Jason Belmonte is completely comfortable as we take a look at your friend and my friend and one of the greatest of all time, PBA Hall of Famer Mark Roth? It's so good to have him with us. But do you think Belmonte is totally comfortable, totally committed to this new lineup that he's using?
I think that's exactly it, and he's got to be in such a comfort zone right now. Good things keep happening. You're sitting on the bench and you're down 12 pins, and all of a sudden it's an even game, and it just makes it so much better to get up. Things are still going good.
Johnny Petraglia joins us, finished 17 to 24th for a tie here at the Masters this week. Belmo on the double. And almost a 7-10, just a 7 remains.
And have you ever seen messengers that fast?
And he lost the ball at the bottom a little. It doesn't seem to matter. You just, you know, you see it laid a little short, and it does. He's just throwing them everywhere. But this is Tommy's chance now, because this is when you pump up and you get up and you're thinking, if I get a double, I take a 1-pin lead here. I'm back in the match.
Spare for Belmonte. He has a 9-pin lead.
Well, Belmonte leaves a solid 9 in the 4th, and then that massive ripper 7-pin right there in the 7th frame. Otherwise, he takes a commanding lead without the miss in the 6th by Smallwood. Smallwood's still winning this match.
Right, but this is where you have to think, even though it's this early in the game. If we both go off the sheet, I win.
Right.
And so I'm controlling my own destiny right now.
Both players can take it off the sheet. Smallwood would shoot 237. Belmonte would shoot 236.
Oh, bucket.
That was
The 2, the 4, the 5, and the 8.
Now that ball looks like it wiggles as it goes down the lane.
It sounded like it hit the holes that time.
Yeah, you can almost hear it. That ball, it sounded like it was ticking either the thumb or the finger holes, and that kept it from hooking up into the pocket.
Right.
Leaves the bucket.
Well, making this is like a double. That's for sure.
Oh, God. Nice spare. Train wreck. Number 6.
Let's take a listen and see if we can hear his bowling ball as it rolls down the lane. It was early.
Yeah, he caught the hole early.
Yeah, he caught it early and it
certainly
shot it
affected
right.
the reaction. Yep,
But the bottom line is the 2 missed spares.
exactly. If he makes both spares, he's still in good shape.
Back-to-back missed spares. And right now it's a 21-pin deficit.
And a flat 10.
That's a given. That's a given. Miss, miss, miss.
And one of the things that Tom talked to us about, Johnny, was he had to stay long with his follow-through. Take a look and tell me what you see here.
Yeah, he's cutting it a little bit short. That elbow's below the shoulder line. So, and Tom is usually higher than that at the completion of his follow-through.
Bonus.
Well, he converted the 10-pin. He can still take it off the sheet for 205. Belmonte right now is at 206. I'm not thoroughly convinced that Belmonte's completely lined up.
I'm not either. He's could probably be thinking about the 4 count. Whoa,
That's high, 6 pins.
that was a break.
He's got to find a way to get his ball to come off the end of the pattern like Smallwood's ball was coming off the end of the pattern. Something that rolls earlier and that will come off the end of the oil pattern smoother. That shot there, when you look at his form, looks like he's standing up on it. We haven't seen Jason Belmonte stand up on it in 3 years.
That's a really good observation, Randy. Yeah, he usually just stays with it, and he's sort of reared at the line of shade there.
I don't think he's 100% convinced that he's playing the lanes the right way with the right ball. And right now he's holding on by virtue of the 2 missed spares by Smallwood.
Yeah, I think that I'm not sure how Mike Haugen's going to bowl, but whoever wins this match, should they get by Haugen, they're going to have to figure something out. Otherwise, I think EJ is going to run over him as good as he looked in practice.
Foundation frame, Jason Belmonte, 20 pins up. Trying to move along the step ladder. That's light, double wood.
Highlight, 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 Johnny.
Highlight.
I think he's in the right zone. I think it's the wrong ball.
I agree with you, and a big break there that it was the 10-pin went down, because even Jason doesn't make that one. So that, but it does put Tommy back in the game.
You see how that ball wiggled as well? I mean, it got to the spot and then it just kept going. It didn't come off the spot. I think he needs to throw something stronger, something that rolls sooner. He's in the right zone. Maybe he can move in just a little bit more off of that, but something that's guaranteed to bite the lane.
Well, when you're on this 2-to-1 ratio, that the middle of the lane gets so flat so quickly that just the slightest variation in your game is really going to take the ball off. And that's what has happened all week. You would see people lined up and then all of a sudden start to lose it as the middle of the lane dried on you and you had to move deeper and you got that funny reaction.
Foundation frame for Tom Smallwood. He can go 4 strikes for 205. And that would force a double out of Belmonte in the 10th frame. So this match far from over. Who will forget his great victory at the PBA World Championship in 2009 over Wes Malott. Needs to start striking. 9th frame.
That was better.
High. But he trips the 4th real late.
Hard to believe he's still in this game.
Yeah, it is.
You know what I mean? The back-to-back open frames like that, going against a guy like Belmonte, it's just hard to believe he's still in this. Remember that he has 2 opens. Belmonte opened in the 1st frame. That's why Smallwood still has a chance. I think if he strikes out in the 10th frame, he wins.
I think, well, first of all, he's got to get that first one. The thing you got to be thinking right now is no freebies. He's got to do something to beat me. I got to get that first one, at least force him to mark.
Take a mental reset, monumental shot for
He dropped
Smallwood.
something over here.
Something distracted him in the crowd. Somebody dropped something.
Looking to add a second major to his resume.
This
2
is where
PBA
you-
Tour titles.
Sorry, Mike. This is where you really dig in. This is where you have to say, it's the most important shot of my life, and I'm good enough to handle it. This is what you.
This is what you
dig
live for.
This is what you live for.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
That's wide. 2-4-5 with the 7.
With a spare, he'll only be in
Shot.
the 180s. Jason Belmonte just needs good count.
Nice game.
And again, you got to go back to the 2 missed spares,
Yeah.
because ultimately that's what's going to end up costing him. But you're right, that scenario, that situation, John, you know it, I know it. That's what you live for. 3 missed
Shot.
spares.
3 missed spares. Yeah, that's right, Randy. It's what it's all about. When
You're a goddamn call.
you get up and you need that strike to win or to keep yourself in the game,
good.
what enters your head is
Shots.
1 in a million people ever get to feel like
Yeah.
this. It's the greatest feeling in the world.
I mean, pressure is what makes it fun in sports. I mean, without
Exactly.
pressure, then it wouldn't be worth anything.
You could just practice every day.
Exactly.
Belmonte with a quick chat with another Hall of Famer, Del Ballard, on his options here in the 10th frame now that he has this match in hand.
He's going to a stronger ball.
That might work. He gets deep enough and enough angle
To
he
make-
can get it wide, but it won't nick the OB boards
Right.
and make the move.
And it'll still be a little bit softer off the end of the pattern.
I think this next game that I'm going to go sit and watch is going to be interesting because Haugen will be playing them completely differently.
Yeah.
And it should be fun.
Here comes, I think, a little micro adjustment to the left.
Yeah, slid on about 41.
Oh.
That took off.
Not what you wanted to see if you're Jason Belmonte, right?
That's right.
Now what? Now what do you do, John? First ball goes flush, he moves left, it hooks more. Now what do you do?
Well,
You got to go to
You know,
another ball.
he's going to it right now. He's got a ball going to a ball that certainly goes straighter than the one he just threw.
The middle part of the lane looks caved in. That may bode very well for the next player coming up to bat.
Well, he's certainly going to play him differently. Throws it. He's going to go straight. He's going to throw it harder if he has to.
Right.
Belmo opts for the strike line in the final shot. 202, 173 winner. He advances up the step ladder. Michael Haugen Jr. is next. Johnny Petraglia, Hall of Famer, thank you so much for stopping by. We'll see you out on the PBA 50 Tour.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Randy. It was great being here.
USBC Masters when we return. For Jason Belmonte, 2-4-10 conversion and double trouble falls.
Yeah, left it back-to-back in the 8th and 9th frame, and it's basically what saved the game for him.
Mike and Randy back at you live here at Brunswick Zone Carolier. Jason Belmonte said it, if I can get through that first match, I have a good chance to run the step ladder, but lane conditions and Mike Haugen stand in the way.
His ball reaction does not look good, and Michael Haugen Jr., his next opponent, is the only player on this telecast that throws the ball down and in. He doesn't have the big high rev rate, the big power ball. He has no business, no frills, straight at him. If Michael Haugen Jr. finds a home for that shot, he's going to win this title. E.J. Tackett, your #1 seed, he hooks the ball almost as much as Belmonte. The middle part of the lane looks like it's caved in. If straighter is greater and it works, Michael Haugen could just win this tournament.
Jason Belmonte threw 3 different shots in the 10th. Which option do you go with?
I'm not sure because, you know, he struck on the first shot in the 10th frame. Then he moved in a little bit with the same ball and went high. That's never a good sign if you're right-handed and you have power. He tried another ball. Who knows? I'm not sure he even knows.
Come on back. Semi-final action. We'll find out. Haugen or one of 3 Belmonte options when we return. USBC Masters is live.